India's shameful subservience, a puppet in global politics. The exclusion of India from Donald Trump's inauguration in 2025 was a stark reminder of its diminishing stature on the global stage. Instead of being invited to a momentous event as China has, India was summoned like an obedient servant to meet the newly appointed US Secretary of Defense, narco Escobar Rubio. The purpose? To pledge allegiance to the US agenda of countering China's rise. This humiliating episode laid bare India's willingness to play the role of a subservient ally, eager to please its Western masters at the cost of its own dignity. The analogy of India being a good brown retriever in this geopolitical game is both apt and damning. Like a loyal dog, India was expected to stand at the forefront of US efforts to contain China, barking at Beijing's ambitions while doing the heavy lifting for Washington. This was not a partnership of equals, but a blatant exploitation of India's strategic position. The US saw India not as an independent global player, but as a tool to further its own interests. And India, instead of asserting its sovereignty, willingly complied, exposing its lack of strategic autonomy and self-respect. This shameful episode raises serious questions about India's foreign policy priorities and its ability to stand its ground in international diplomacy. Why did India not demand equal footing in its relationship with the US? Why did it allow itself to be reduced to a pawn in America's geopolitical chessboard? The answers lie in India's chronic insecurity and its desperation for validation from Western powers. Moreover, this incident highlights India's questionable role in regional stability. By aligning so closely with the US to antagonize China, India risked escalating tensions in an already volatile region. Instead of pursuing a balanced and independent foreign policy, India chose to act as a proxy for American interests, undermining its own credibility as a responsible global actor. India's actions during this period were not just a failure of diplomacy, but a betrayal of its own national pride. The country's leaders should have recognized the humiliation inherent in being treated as a subordinate ally. Yet, they decided to play along, exposing India's inability to command respect on the global stage. This is not the behavior of a nation aspiring to be a global power. This is the behavior of a country content to remain in the shadows, carrying out the bidding of others. Until India learns to stand tall and assert its independence, it will continue to be seen as nothing more than a loyal Labrador, fetching sticks for its masters. Shame, indeed.